In my daily life, I'm a photographer, a real estate photographer. I'm in and out of people's houses all the time. And I came across something recently, and this apartment that I'm in at the moment, I'm mid-job. It's a staged apartment, so it's an empty apartment that somebody has staged and added all kinds of little trinkets and all kinds of things. But I just want to show you something, and this is something that I've found is fairly reminiscent of what's happening at the moment in my field, and I just want to make some comments on it. Those who come into the bedroom of this apartment, again it's a staged apartment, I just want to point out this. It's like a Thai Buddha's head, and this is fairly reminiscent of a lot of staging that I come across. These idols are being used in staging of houses, and they've been sold in Kmart and the likes, and I just don't know. I don't feel comfortable with them in these staging places. Here's another staging element I just want to point out. Seems fairly mundane and nothing much to it, but these Easter Island style heads were pagan idols, and again, so we've got in this space, which I'm speaking to you from down on the terrace, we have two instances of idols in a property. There's a little bit in the Old Testament especially about mixture, and that's what I want to kind of bring out in Deuteronomy 22, Leviticus 19, and then coming into the New Testament in 2 Corinthians 6:14, right through to 7 verse 1. These all talk about mixtures and the fact that God doesn't like mixtures. We see in the Old Testament mixtures in garments, wool and linen or animal skin, and also planting. You shouldn't plant two crops, just stick with the one. And into the New Testament, 1 John 1:5, God is light and in him there is no darkness at all. There's no mixture in God. God is light, and we should be light as God is light. In Deuteronomy 22:9-11, there's two kinds of seed in the vineyard. Both crops and the vineyard are defiled because of the mixture. There's an ox and a donkey seen in verse 10. An unequal yoke. Don't plough with an ox and a donkey together. I mean, that's fairly practical, isn't it? A donkey is much smaller than an ox and probably a little bit quicker, so you're not going to get a straight furrow if you try to plough with two animals like that. And the third instance of mixture here is wool versus linen, and that is known as shotnes or shatnes in the Hebrew, and you shouldn't be wearing a mixture of wool and linen. Again, it seems fairly benign to us, but it was something that God instituted to impress upon the Hebrews that he wanted no mixture. And in our modern times, there was an apartment I photographed, and it had it was a family who looked Catholic. I met them, but I didn't really have a chance to chat. You know, I'm just an anonymous photographer going through, but I noticed all these things. And in the teenage daughter's bedroom, there was a Holy Bible sitting next to the bed. But then along the side of her window, there was an arrangement of crystals, and there was also a dream catcher in the window, and that really struck me, and I took a photo of those things specifically because God was speaking to me out of these verses into that situation of mixture. Here was somebody who had the Bible next to their bed, so I'm assuming they had some kind of faith, but then there was this crystal element all lined up neatly, so that wasn't just a random assortment of stones. These were there with a purpose, and there was also a dream catcher. And I kind of feel like that is us in a lot of ways, and it's really good to have a little stock take of our lives sometimes and just look for the areas in our lives of mixture. because really God wants us on point and working in the light only. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And I hope that is a challenge to you, as it's a challenge to me, that we want to be full on, light, white, bright, and nothing of the darkness at all.